All right. Looks like my mouse may be the same size. Might not have helped you. Anyways, good morning, Alisal, teachers. Hopefully you are comfy and cozy. I am doing my best. Keep it light. Here is my safari hat, and I am wearing of course, my Friday Barden gear. It is Friday. And so if you are joining me, you're going to notice these slides are actually the same slides that I used last time. And that's because I have a lot of resources in these slides. I understand that not everybody is able to, sorry, looking at a few questions. I know that not everybody's able to, with everything that's going on, take your time to walk yourself through the slides. And so today's going to be building some muscle memory. As far as just a few questions out there, I am just like you guys. I am a teacher, and so a lot of the information, as far as supplies, how things are going, I receive at the same time you do. Of course, as many of you know, I was formerly a TOSA in the ed tech department. But all that information, today's questions, really in there. Do your best and keep them on Seesaw, and I will be able to help you with those. So hopefully you're logged in. You're in the question form. I'll get started in a second. Again, this presentation is at coachben.org. Again, just for ease of access for you all, coachben.org. I have a lot of resources there. They're all free. No money is made. And so you guys ready to get started? I love just kind of a few questions that I've had in there. Again, I'll be able to answer as we go. So one question is having some issues with uploading slides or Seesaw. That might be something I connect with me or one of your ed techs. Maybe we can help you with that. I'm not quite sure, again, without seeing your machine. Another question I have out here, shout out Patty at Barden, woot woot. Differentiating instructions. Yes, I will touch on that. You can assign activities, and today's really about activities. You can assign activities to individual students. You cannot do them in groups right now. So I could choose 5 students and click on them and assign it. And so you are able to kind of differentiate that instruction. I'm going to start out with that. So again, today is really going to be about building that muscle memory, building some activities. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is here's a template where some of you may have access to this or have seen access to this before. This is a template I would like you to be able to have a copy of. This is something that my colleagues and I kind of update. This is how we create a lot of backgrounds in Seesaw. And so rather than kind of getting to this later, what I'd like you to do is be able to open a new tab. So you can hit Command T or the plus sign. And I know you're not going to be able to see my screen, so I can read this a few times, or you can toggle back and forth. I will leave this here for a minute or two. The website is tinyurl.com, or sorry, the URL is tinyurl.com/KR, that stands for Kinder Rockets, Seesaw Temp. And this site does not matter if it's uppercase or lowercase. It's not case sensitive. So tiny, tinyurl.com/KR Seesaw Temp. Again, I'm going to leave this here. You can file and you can make a copy. Maybe before you make your copy, I'll take Yesenia's slide here. Hi, Yesenia. I'll delete it for a second, and then I'll hit Command Z. Great. I see a bunch of people popping in there. I can see your face. Maybe you can see your face on your screen. I'm going to wait again. Hey, Miss Zavala, I think I saw Raina in there. Oh, so good to see all these people in here digitally. Awesome. So awesome, Alisal. Great job. It's just honestly seeing some of your faces or your names pop in there. It honestly really brings me joy. So thank you. It's just, this is a time where we need to be connected to each other. And just so for me, seeing your face pop up in there. So leaving this open for a minute or two, again, because I know that there's a delay. And this is going to be the background of my activities. So everything, if you look at my activities, and I'll say this again, and I'll show this again, I'm just kind of filling some airtime while I get some more people in here. Everything that you see in my activities, not everything, most things in the background, I make in Google Slides. That is the background of my activities, right? So I think about that as the paper. The things I add in Seesaw might be like the manipulatives I put on the paper. And so maybe like my number discs that I put on the paper, right? Those are things that I add in Seesaw. If I had like Unifix cubes, right? I have my master, which is the background. That's like my Google slide. And then my Unifix cubes, which I might put in my 10 frame. That is actually the background. So if you're in here and you don't know how to make a copy, you just go to File, and then you just go to make a copy of the entire presentation. And again, I'm going to leave this here for a minute because I know, it's Friday. I'll take a few cups of coffee. I won't tell any bad jokes, by the way. But again, let me just say what I said again. The background of I make the background of my Seesaw activities a lot in Google Slides. That's my paper, right? The manipulatives that I need kids to play with, I add in Seesaw. So these are the backgrounds. Some of these are mine. Some of these are Miss Gutierrez's. If you ever make an awesome background, please feel free to share it with me. I'd add it to this presentation. Maybe at some point I'll just file and open up for everybody. Again, sorry for kind of killing a little time. I just want to make sure everybody has adequate time to get into this presentation. Oh, Raina, thank you very much. It's very kind. And Janice, can you post videos on how to get resources on Google Classroom? Yes, you can post those videos, and I'm going to kind of show you how to make your videos of how to access resources, and then how you can post them. All right, so I'm going to give this maybe just about one more minute. Remember, go to File. You can see my breadcrumb right here. You go to File, make a copy of the entire presentation. This is also something that maybe I'm going to do my best explaining it because you might want to toggle between tabs. You can watch my screen if you want to, but the best way for you to build that muscle memory is by doing it. So we're going to do some reps. We're going to do them a few times. We're going to be awesome. I'm going to be patient. I got to mostly tell that for myself, because after this, of course, I have my 4 children that are probably not so patient. All right, you guys ready to move on? I'm going to take this as a yes. I've given us quite a little bit of time here. So again, I'm not going to change this URL. It's going to be there. You'll always be able to access it. You'll always be able to make a copy. This will be live like a web page. So once I update it, you can see it updated. All right. So I'm going to put Yesenia's slide back in there. And I am going to go ahead and go back here to my Seesaw. All right. So this is my Kinder Rocket Seesaw. George gave me a great tip. If you noticed, if you look at the version of the last video, I've changed my students so you can no longer see their first name to keep them safe too when I'm doing this video. Some parent names might still pop up in this classroom, but I'm just always being cognizant of how I'm sharing my data. Or information. And so I would show you that, but then it would show their last name. So watch the webinar that George, I think, gave the other day, and you can see how to do that. Or if you want to ask me separately, that's fine too. I appreciate your questions. I will do my best if you send me emails afterwards to get to them in a timely manner. All right, so here we go. Let's do this. All right, so let's just do a quick review for those of us that have need it. All right, so we have our add button up here. And again, the student view of Seesaw is almost the same as the teacher view. They have the add button. However, when they click on the add button, it just goes immediately to post-student work. So remember, we have post-student work. We have assign activity. Today, we're going to be spending a lot of time in the assign activity. All right, over here, we have our journal. In our journal, everybody's stuff shows up in our journal feed. Everybody's work shows up in our journal feed. So there's something I posted, right? There's something that Jacob posted. All right, there's something that Anthony posted. All right, then I'm going to go over here to activities. This is, again, where we're going to spend our time. These are my activities that I have for my students. Towards the end, once we understand how to make activities, I'm going to show you kind of what I've been doing with my activities. To be able to have kids kind of have a mini lesson. Now, the tricky part is getting kids to watch the mini lesson. So, again, pausing for processing time. So, again, we're going to make activities. The difference between the journal and the activities is in the journal, I can post to my journal, but it's going to be cluttered. It's going to be totally this endless stream of things I can look at. When I go to the activities, I am able to click on my activities. This is, look, the one I have actually 5 responses for. I am able to click on my activities, and I am able to see who has actually turned it in. You can see Pedro actually started it. His says draft. So again, the activities are nice because they're the one-stop shop to be able to see everybody's. In my activities, I'm actually able to click on a student's. I can click on Victor's here. I can listen to it. I don't think you guys will be able to hear it. I can listen to it. I can put a like to it. Again, right? I'll do that again for you. I'm in my activities, right? My activities, you might not have any there if you haven't signed any. I can click on this gray bar and I can click on a student. So I could click on Samantha. I could click like, and if I want to, you can see who it's liked by. I'm going to leave a comment here for my student. All right. Samantha, great work yesterday. I love how you did quite a few activities and I heard your recordings. Keep up the good work, Samantha. Good job, Kinder Rocket. Again, this is just showing you a little bit of what the activities look like. It's your one-stop shop. You're able to really see what your students have done. You can see, again, the draft mode, which students are able to put things in draft when they're not finished. I can see Pedro has started a draft. All right. The biggest challenge is putting the activities is even in there, even if you do something, it's not the same, I guess, as teaching, just like your worksheet. So we got to figure out ways to kind of help students with that. And so we can't necessarily put them in there. Activities that are good to start with. There's things that your students are already familiar with. One of the things I'll also say is you hear me repeating things a lot. And just as a lot of you guys know, sometimes even as adults, we need to hear multiple things multiple times. So sorry if I'm sounding redundant. I'm just doing my best to help you feel successful when you're doing this. If I'm going too slow for you, I apologize. I'd rather go too slow than too fast. All right. I do have a question here from Kayla. Can parents print from Seesaw? I guess they could print. I'm going to have to think about that, Kayla. Maybe towards the end, if you want to pop that question in there again. So here we go. Activities. How do I get to my activities library? There's a few different ways. Number one, I usually just go to my green plus sign and go to assign activities. All right. But if you see here on activities right here, you can go to browse library, activity library. So I can click on that as well. All right. So here is my activity library. If I did it this way, to create an activity, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to my library. All right, so here is my library. Here is my library of activities. Okay, in my library of activities, I am able to create a new activity. So I'm able to create a new activities. So I'm going to give everybody a second just to get here into their library. I'm also doing my best. If you know my number and you send me a text, I will also do my best to do that way. But the best way to communicate with me is through the form. So I'm in my activities. I'm going to create a new activity. All right. An activity, again, is like an assignment that I'm going to give my students. So this is the blank template for create a new activity. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we see. Let me see if I hit Command plus or Control plus. It makes my screen a little bit bigger, and hopefully that makes it a little bit bigger on your screen as well. So up here, the parts of an activity. First thing you're going to need to put in is your activity name. You can see that that is required. All right. So your activity name's the name of your assignment. The next thing we have here is student instructions. Those are the instructions for your students. This part is optional. You do not have to do this. There are a few types of instructions you can add. You can add voice instructions, and then you could add multimedia instructions or an example. So multimedia instructions would be like a video, right? It could just be a piece of paper that you kind of filled out ahead of time, with maybe some examples on there. That could be an example. So any example or instructions that you want to send to your students, you can both type, and you can also add voice instructions or multimedia instructions. So earlier you heard me talking about, for example, the paper, like the background for the Google Slides, the template. This is the student template. The student template is basically the worksheet or the paper that you are handing out to students that you want them to do, right? So it's a student template, and you can see here it says students will respond directly on top of the template. All right, and it tells me that photos, drawings, and notes work the best. So again, I'm just kind of every once in a while you see me pause. I'm taking a second to read the questions. If this doesn't, and again, this is, of course, you have to have access to Seesaw. If you don't, think about the best thing that you can do to reach your students, and that may be phone calls home. I've done quite a few of those. And so just do your best. I'm just here to go ahead and help those of you that really are looking for it. So again, coming back here to student template, here's my student template. And this is where you're going to be able to add your student template or responses. Okay. And then more options, I'm not going to worry about that for today. So you've seen kind of parts of the activity from this end. Now I'm going to look at an activity and I'm going to show you those same parts in the activity before we actually create an activity. So you can just have a better point of reference. I can always hit the back arrow to go back. I am going to just pick, let me see. I'm going to pick this activity here. I love my white shoes. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. Again, this is my example right here. This window is my example or the multimedia template for my students. All right. This is, you can see my student instructions. Here I have my title. You can see how this appears. I do like to add some emojis in there. Here, right here, you can see my instructions for students. Of course, my kids are going to have trouble reading those, but I could put them in. I put some of mine in Spanish as well for parents. Some of it depends on the time. If you're going to publish them to the library for other teachers, I do suggest you doing the instructions. For here, you can see my student template. This is actually the activity that the students are going to complete, right? The template. And again, you have your background, which is created, your paper, which I do in Google Slides. You can do it in anything. Also, you add your manipulatives where in Seesaw. So this is what this looks like from the teacher point of view. Taking that a step further, what does it look like from the student's point of view? I'm going to go ahead and again, I'll show you this a few times. This goes to Miss Patty's question about assigning assignments to different groups. I'm going to go ahead and assign. When I assign, right now it's going to my whole class. I can edit right here. All right. And so when I do this, I can actually come in and I can choose the students that I want to receive this activity. Right now, the only person I want to receive this activity is myself. I've added myself to this class and I use that as a demo. Yes, I will do get focus better on my screen. Thank you very much. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So here is, again, from the teacher view and creation, the teacher view and assignment to the student view. So again, here's my multimedia instructions right here. Thank you. Here's the title. Here's my instructions. Oops. Here's my instructions right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on add response. So again, you can see what this particular one looks like. So when I click on my instructions, by the way, and again, this is a little bit more advanced. This is me, and I've done a little bit of a video being able to explain to the students what they're doing. And we'll kind of touch on how to do this towards the end of the session. Those of you that are in my slides, there is a YouTube video that I showed you, you can see. So I'm just kind of showing the video. I give a little bit of instructions. I model exactly what I want the students to do. And I'm able to do this through Screencastify. Again, I'm showing you the pieces right now of the activities. And so we have our multimedia example, our title, our questions. When I go to add response, what does this particular activity look like? In this particular activity, this is the background, right? And this is, so you can see the background is the one I actually did in Google Slides. I'm going to click over to Google Slides for a second. Here is the background right here. Oops, next one. This is the background right here. All right, you can see I don't have any of these movable pieces here. I'm going to, again, walk through how to make these. I'm just breaking it down as much as I can for you. When I go over to my Seesaw, you can see the background, which is in the back, but you also see these movable pieces, my manipulatives. And my manipulatives I added at a later point in Seesaw. This is just one type of activity. you can just, you don't have to add anything if you don't want to. I'm just kind of showing you an example here. All right. And so then students would be able to complete it and they'd hit the green check. And then when the activity comes up, you can see it post to where? My journal. And it also posts right here to my activity. And so you can see when I click on this, I have this one response. I can click on it, and then you can see the response there. So again, that's really trying to break the activity into as small a pieces as I can. So we're going to go ahead and create our first activity. We're not even going to bother using a background in Google Slides for right now. We're just going to do it all inside of the activity. So to get to the library, I can be in activities and I can go down here, or I can just, my favorite thing is clicking on the green button. Clicking on the green button, going to assign activity. Give you a second to do that. So go to the place where you're going to create a new activity. I'm going to pause a second. I'm going to take a second. I see a few questions coming in. Thank you, Claudia, for your kind words. And so, yes, as a great idea from Teresa is you could write the instructions in English. You could record your voice instructions in Spanish. That's a really good idea, especially for some of our parents out there. So thank you, Teresa. That's a great idea. Just a few more. Yeah, and some of it, I saw Candy from Montebello. The internet is a little slow right now when it comes to uploading and downloading videos. And so that could be one issue. It also could be, I have trouble downloading to Seesaw. It also could be the size of your video. So we'll talk about some of those maybe in the second section as we go forward. If I don't hit it, please again to feel free to add that question again. So here we are. We're in the activity library. We're about to create activity. This would again be a good time for you to have me be in another tab and go ahead and do this and build that muscle memory. So I'm going to go here to create new activity. We did this the other day in this, but again, we're going to do it again. We're going to start from scratch. And so we're just going to call this activity play, whatever you want to. Playtime, test, trying things out. So I'm giving my activity a title. This is how I add my emojis. You don't have to listen to this right now. This is just if you want to write this down, that's fine too if you have a piece of paper. So the shortcut for adding emojis on a Macintosh. I know some of you know this. You can say it with me. So look at your keyboard. The button for the shortcut on a Mac is always going to be Command. So I'm going to push Command with one finger, and this is a two-hand shortcut. Command with one finger, Control, which is about 2 buttons away, and spacebar. This only works on a Mac. Command, Control, spacebar with my other hand, all at the same time. You can see this is how I pop up my emojis. I like to add my Kinder Rocket. You can also, I love the emoji because you can do a search, and you can do a search for like, if you want to type in, sometimes I like using their numbers because they stand out a little bit. Like here's the number 2, or if you want to add a unicorn, you can add your unicorn. Again, I'll say that it's Control, Command, Spacebar. Control, Command, Spacebar. It only works on a Mac. Again, Control, Command, Spacebar if you want to add emojis. All right, so instructions. You can just, we're not going to worry about these right now, but these are where we'll type our instructions. What I want to do is we are going to make a template for our students. This is the simplest way to add an activity, all right? Add a template for our students. And so what I'm going to do is today, I'm going to start out actually with a drawing, okay? So I'll show you that again. Everything I'll try to do at least twice. So I'm going to go down to student template. I'm going to go to add a template for student response. This is my piece of paper, right, that I'm making for my students. But then I can also add manipulatives because where am I doing it all? In Seesaw. So here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to go to drawing. And I'm in my screen. What I'm going to do is I am going to make a sort. I'm going to make a sort all in Seesaw. One of the things that I feel like my kids have trouble with still is what's a sentence, what's not a sentence. You can make the same sort as me. You could put your own content in there. So just as a review, that what I can do in drawing right now, I can write with my pencil, and it's always best to use the undo, and that's my pen. I can click on these again, right? I can change the size here. These are all my writing tools at the bottom. Use the undo button. I have T for text. I have the microphone for recording. I can take a picture. I can upload a photo, or I can take one right here. I can, these three dots, I can change my background right now. I can change the shapes. Let's click on these down here. Look, I can add a voice caption. Again, the quotation marks in the bottom. Excuse me. Over here, I have my colors, and you can see I can slide the colors up and down. So again, where do you create an activity for the first time? I'll show you that again. Again, it's a little bit, so I'm going to go back. I'll do it again, right? An activity for the first time. Getting that muscle memory in here. If you don't need to go back with me, but go ahead and think about the steps in your brain. So I go here to add. I go to, so I'm in my classroom. I click on the green button. I go to add. I can go to assign activity. I'm going to go to create new activity. And that's how you create a new activity in your library. I'm going to go back down to here I was in student template of drawing. Hopefully you're still there. So here I am. I'm going to create a sort. So one thing that may be a little tricky is layers. And so what do I mean by layers? When you put items in Seesaw, you basically, the first item you put in is like on the ground. The second item you put in is above it. The third item you put in is above it. The fourth item you put in is above it. So that's what I mean by layers, because when you add these items, if you want them to overlap in a certain way, the order is important. Can you change layers? Yes. All right, so I'm talking about the pieces that I might add to Seesaw. I can also, with my background, I can lock the layer on the background. So I'm going to make a sort. I'm going to start out by clicking on my T. All right, so here's my T. And so I'm going to put the word sentence. Okay, because I'm going to make a sort where it's a, yes, it's a sentence. No, it's not a sentence. And if I want to use my emojis, don't feel like you have to do this. Control Command plus, maybe I want the check. Yes, it's a sentence. Okay. Anything that's a sentence in this sort, I'm going to put over here. All right. Now, again, I'm going to hit the T. We're going to go with the basics for now. I'm going to put not a sentence. If you want to put sentence fragment, if you want to put something else, that's fine too. I'm just going to have not a sentence and not a sentence. If I click in my box, I can see my cursor. If I click out of my box, no cursor. Click in the box, find your cursor, your flashing eye bar cursor there. Again, Control Command Space Bar. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to maybe no. Let's see here. Not a sentence. Maybe thumbs down for not. Oh, here's a good one. This is what I want. Not a sentence. You don't have to put in the emoji. So basically in this sort, I want to have a sentence and I want to have not a sentence. Now, right now, my students will be able to drag those pieces around. I don't want them to drag it around. I want to basically glue it to my piece of paper. So how do I glue it to my piece of paper? So I'm going to click in the middle. I'm going to click off there. Now, if you notice, I have 3 dots that show up below it. Okay, so on my text box, I'm going to click off again, click on the box, I have my 3 dots. I click on my 3 dots here. Now, there's a lot here, right? There's different things you can do. Sorry, my computer cord just got pulled out. Different chords you can do. Sorry, different things you can do here. You can lock it. See where it says lock? I'm going to lock it. And what it does now is students can't move it. It locks it into place. All right. So my other text box that says not a sentence, what do I need to do to that? You got it. What I need to do to that is click on the 3 dots. What am I going to go down to? I'm going to lock it there. So the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want these students to be able to move this part. There's a sentence and there's not a sentence. Maybe I should center them more. Again, right now, done. It can be better than perfect. Now I'm going to need a dividing line. So the simplest way to do this is by taking your marker and literally making a dividing line. Okay, that's not necessarily super pretty. You can do it again. Don't try to erase it. Hit the undo. Students will be able to erase that. But maybe we want to check out again our shapes. So on the side, my shapes. Here's my shapes here. Okay, leave it there for a second. I'm going to click on my shapes. I'm going to look for some shapes. And if I notice, here's a line in my shapes, right? So maybe instead of drawing it, I can use the line. I'm just going to show you some of the other shapes you can see. You can see there's a good variety of shapes. So for this one, maybe I'll just use a line here. So I click on the line, it shows up there. Click on it again, another one shows up. I'm going to use 2 shapes for this one. All right, so I just clicked on the screen. Again, 3 dots, shapes. To enter it, you click on it. If you want to delete it, you can just click on it and then hit the delete button. All right, so here we go. Here's my shape. I'm going to take this and I want to turn it, I guess it's now horizontal. I want to turn it vertical. And so I'm going to click over here, click on my shape. See this, what that pops up right here. Click on my shape. Click on it, and yep, you can see I'm turning it. And I think for this, just because I want it to have about equal, I'm going to go here and maybe stick it here. I can go a little bit up and drag it down. All right, and actually, you know what? I'm going to leave room for my sentences at the bottom for them to be able to move them. I need a place for my sentences, right? So maybe I want to end it right there. So for this one, it's fine where it is. Now, I can click on it. I just want to drag it. Now, what I can do is I can actually push it over to the left, click, drag and click, and drag it some more. Click on it, push it over to the left, drag it some more. And now, when I bring it here, I think it's going to go all the way across. It actually goes off my screen. So right now, can students move those pieces? Yes, they can. So what I can do is I can click on the 3 dots. I want you to think about what you want to do. Maybe you want it to be a different color. You can try the different styles. Okay. This is again where you can see the order. Remember that layering? I can send it all the way to the back, or I can bring it all the way to the front. The layering, when you put your pieces on the background, they layer, right? They layer on top of each other. So this is what I want to do is lock. Notice there's also this duplicate feature, which can be helpful, or the delete. So I'm going to lock this in place. And remember, just remember, if for some reason you're having internet issues, this will be recorded if you want to go back and watch it later. Click on it because I need to lock this other one in place, or students are going to be able to move it. Can they unlock these pieces? Yes, they can. But I don't have a whole lot of experience with them doing it, but maybe you just need to virtually tell them. I wouldn't necessarily worry about it if at this point. So here again, see these pieces? I can't move them. I'm clicking, I'm trying to move them. I'm clicking, I'm trying to move them. So I've made a basic sort. You know what? I want to add a background. Ben, you said we could add a background. Is it too late to add a background? No, it is not too late to add a background. All right, so I'm going to click on the background. Again, where did I get that? So look over on your left. Click on there. You don't have to add a background. I'm just showing you some options. I'm going to show you my student's favorite background is this one. Right? Notice when you put the background in, how it's behind everything. Gotta love that paper, although that paper might be a little small for students to write on, the primary students. Musical, check that out. Let's do the rainbow. You know what? I think, again, one thing to think about is we want our students to be engaged in these activities. Is that a little bright for us? Yes. Do you have to do a rainbow in the background? No. But it makes it more vibrant. It makes it more engaging for students. Yeah, the line drawing. Okay, I'll go back again. Thank you. So the line drawing. How do I get to any of my shapes? Great review. I click here and I go to shapes, right? Here are all of my shapes here. All of my shapes. If I want a shape in there, boom, right? I click it there. I can drag it. right? I can drag it across. I can drag it from this side. And remember, the great thing about this, if you miss anything, when it comes out, you can go back and watch just that piece you need to. You don't need to watch the whole thing. I can turn it, right? Hopefully that gives you a little bit of time for those of you that are behind to catch up a little bit. And again, the way that you can is for moving these, right? You can actually, there's room off that you can't see that I can push these up past. So literally, I could take it all the way up here. I could put it all the way down to the bottom. All right. Just stopping for a few seconds. Thank you. I'm glad this step-by-step is helpful for you. Can you add a screenshot? Yes. Natalie, yeah, you can add anything that's a picture. You can add a screenshot of to the background. And so that's another way to do that. And we'll kind of talk about that in the second half, taking other things and put them in the background. Thank you for those of you. I know it's a little bit delayed between your questions. So again, hopefully you're all caught up with the line drawing. Again, that's in shapes. I did a background. You don't have to do a background. And all those features are under these 3 dots over here. Let's just pause for a minute. If anybody needs to catch up, take a sip of coffee. So yeah, glad you're right. That rainbow background again. Click on the 3 dots. Here's the background right here. Click on the background, and then you scroll down, and there's that rainbow background. Your background will always be the bottom layer, always that bottom layer. Again, stacking things on top of each other. There's the rainbow background. You'd be surprised when students figure out how often they do that. Yes, I will do a different color for you for this, Kayla. I'm going to, just to make it easier, hopefully that's a little easier on the eyes. Later, you're also going to be able to copy and edit this activity. All right, so moving on to our next steps. Hopefully everybody's caught up. So now we need to add our manipulatives, the pieces that are a sentence or not a sentence or not a sentence. So I'm going to add these as text, all right? And maybe to differentiate, I want to change the style of my box. All right, so the text box, remember these 3 dots on the bottom? I'm on my text box. I click on the 3 dots. Let me move it down a little bit so you can see it on your screen because I can't see it on my screen. Sometimes to move it, you actually have to click off the box and then back on the box. Okay, to move it, click off the box, and then you can move it that way. Because otherwise, if you try to move it, you can't because the I bar, it's the flashing bar, is on there for your cursor. And so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the style. Notice I had to click off of it to change the style and get these 3 dots. Click off of it to get the 3 dots. So my style, these are all the different styles. I'm going to do the feather. I like seeing the A there, and it's a little bit different. And then maybe I want to, you can see kind of how it's changing as I'm doing this. And maybe I want to change the color. All right. There. All right. So sentence and not a sentence. All right. I going to type a sentence. I like cats. Period. All right. Because I want to fit it all. Look, I type my sentence and I'm going to drag it in so I minimize the space, but not too far so it goes in that. So I like cats. Click on it. I'm going to take it down here. This is going to be part of my sort. Again, you can do this activity. You could do spelling sorts, right? Anything, all different sorts you can do. The background does lock automatically. You don't need to worry about locking the background when you add it that way. All right, next thing. So I'll click on my T. There's it, just pops up another box. What about just doing I cats? There's my not a sentence. I'm going to drag that in, click and drag it to the bottom. And as many of you know, if you've worked with me before, a lot of times when I do my click and drag, I do click, drag, click, drag. And I don't lift this finger off. Click, drag, because I find doing the pinching thing on the box, it's a little hard. So I go click and I go drag. All right, so there's my next one. I got I like cats, I cats. Maybe to even be a scaffold for the students that are maybe in the beginning, I want to do one of each color. So let's try red. So my next sentence is you are, let me see, you are Thinking about a word I can put in here that the kids would know. You are fun, period. They should be able to read that at this point. You are fun. And again, to maximize my size, I can grab it and dragging it. All right. So again, to make those text boxes, you just click on the T. Again, hopefully I'll pause every once in a while so you can keep up. You can see the text box is just a lot of the same feature. Right. So the first text box I created was I like cats. I cats. You are fun. All right. So maybe I should create a sentence. How about we do the same sentence for you are fun? Oops. If I click on here and then I click on the text box, it's the same, right? So how about you are fun, right? Same thing, but what are we missing, as you guys know? And I'm dragging it to the side. Maybe I want to separate these two. And if you notice when Seesaw, when I come down here, my tools hide for a minute. Come down and your tools hide. Yes, so again, a question, could I use a math template? Yes, you can use any template, even if you have some Eureka math, that could be your template for your background. The thing you want to think about is your spacing. So literally, you're probably not going to put more than 1 or 2 Eureka math problems on a page, and we'll talk about multiple pages. Anything you can take an image of can be your background. Anything you can take a photograph of can be your background. Thanks again for the questions. I'm going to come in here and again, I'm going to type, maybe we do a few more. Okay. All right. So again, change colors just for my scaffolding. Let's see. Let me think of another sight word. Let's do he and she. We didn't do, let's see, he sees, and maybe I'm going to change this color because it's hard to, there you go. How's that green? He sees, what does he see? My dog. Most of my students should know those words at this point. Again, practicing, you should pick words that your students know. He sees my dog, putting it down there. And then here, add T, and I'm just going to type in the word dog. Hopefully that will be a good giveaway for them. All right, putting this down here. I'm going to, again, kind of, maybe I want to make a little more space. See if the problem is if I move this over here, see how it hides it. So I got to get it pretty close to there. But these one at the bottom, when you actually move them, you can see the tools come down. So I'm going to scooch these in a little bit more. Maybe I can squeeze one more in there. All right. T, let's go with, I've got I've got you. If we did a he, we probably should do a she. Another sight word. Let me do another sight word. Let me think. Another sight word. She is. She is. We did fun. What's another one? She is good. That's another sight word some of my students might know. And hopefully these are sentences my students should be able to read. Not all of them will, but hopefully they will be able to kind of see they have a capital letter and they have a period. They have some finger spaces there. There's my black. Okay, one more, and we'll just put the word is. And one is, how about is good? Is good. All right. So basically, again, I'm going to give you a second to make sure that you're with me here. I'm going to kind of, again, slide these over that I can put these on here, pausing for anybody that needs to catch up. Don't feel like you have to make the whole activity right now. Looks like I could fit, maybe I can slide my word dog down here and move this over here. So now I'm rearranging it, thinking about how my students are going to be able to see this. So this is the basic, the way that you can create your whole activity, in one shot. So I want to do a few, just review things of some of the questions I've had coming in. This is, again, a great time to pause. And yes, I will share this activity with you. So again, text box, a few options, adding a text box. Here's my text box. I click on the 3 dots, and really you need to play around. I need to move it down so I can see all the options. Click off, and when you click off and there's nothing in there, it disappears. So I'm just going to put that in there for now. Okay, click on here. Again, the style, go into the style. Up here are my fonts. Sorry if I went through this part too fast. Here are my fonts, right? Different fonts. I can go, you can see the different style. This is like, you can see transparent. This style has a border and a background. This style has a solid background color. You can go to the left, justify right, justify in the middle, justify in the middle. And again, you can change the colors over here. And so when I change the color over here, right, coming back here to my style, you can see it changes the color for all of the styles. All right, so hopefully that helps you with your color. That section is a good review. Again, giving some people time to catch up with me. Again, these thinking about this, I had my background, which is pink. I locked these pieces up here in the back, and I locked these lines. I did not lock these pieces down here because I want students to be able to move these pieces, right? So I've locked all the pieces. Again, I am working on my student template. Each student will get a copy of this. This is like my master's before I put it in the copy machine. And that's what I'm working on. So giving you a little bit longer again to kind of put anything else you want in there if you're still working on it. Looking over here at the questions, great job. The undo button is at the top, and really I can push just like in any Google Docs or anything that has the undo. I can push it, right? I can push it quite a few times and I can redo it. I can undo it like there and I can redo it. And I like when my students undo, right? That's a good button, especially if in your modeling. And I'll talk about seeing some of the modeling there. Other questions? Can I make one ginormous class in Seesaw that Alisal kinder students? I know, wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, technically we could make one ginormous class in there. That would be a little bit crazy, but I think for now, the best way to kind of share activities like with each other is to look in the activity library, and that's definitely a way we can kind of share with each other. Once we get these activities going, it's great. I've also know specifically talking to Alex, our one of our wonderful Tosas, we're going to set up a kinder meeting specifically for kinder teachers on Tuesday. She's going to set that up, and I will be there, and we can collaborate with each other. So what do you do if a child submits the activity and it's incorrect? I usually leave some voice feedback. And again, if you saw me add the voice comment there, that was a voice comment that I would add. And yeah, so right now it's a little bit hard. They might not listen to the voice comment. If you want to make that personal contact and call the family, call the students. Thank you guys for the positive messages that are coming in. You can see definitely I was a little flustered earlier, and so I apologize. But hopefully I'm in my groove now. Hopefully you feel good with where you're at right now in your activity. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to change my background. How do I do it? 3 dots back to that rainbow because I'm going to finalize it. So there. I love the rainbow. Maybe I should probably do this as a primary color, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So this is a 1-page activity. Hopefully I'll in a little bit, I'll talk about multiple pages. That might be different because, again, this training could go on for a while, but there's a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm going to do my best here for you guys as I'm a Kinder Rocket. If you want to, by the way, add pages. Look, if I wanted to do this, same thing. Okay, I'm over here on the left-hand column. You can see this little over here. I noticed these 3 dots over here. So pages, you can add up to 10 pages of activities. You can see here that I can duplicate pages. And so right now, if you wanted to add multiple pages, you can do that. So if I wanted to kind of change this up and make it a little harder for maybe level 2 people, level 3 people. The difficulty can be, though, recording across multiple pages. So a lot of times right now for my kindergarten students, when I want them to record, I might just stick to 1 page, but I might get to the point where I might do multiple pages. You can also hit add page on the bottom, but you can see it's going to add a blank page. And again, I can hit the delete page. I can hit the delete page to delete it. Looking over here, how do I change the color for the sentences? How can I shrink the font for the text box? You can't. So those are a few good questions as well. Awesome questions. So again, if you want to change the color of a current box, click on the, oops, what do? I just use my marker instead of my hand. Undo. You got it. To click on, change the color for a current box, you just click on the box, right? And then you can drag it over here on the left. I'm not going to change the color of this box because then I'll have to change the color of my other box because that's kind of tricky. As far as font goes, yeah, the font, you can't really say like font size 12, font size 10. And so you can see, again, these are your options in style, and there's not necessarily a font size that you can shrink. The way, if you want more control over that, is by actually inserting a screenshot of that as a movable piece. If that doesn't make sense to you, don't worry about it. Hopefully at some point we'll get there. I don't mind making this an ongoing series. We'll get as far as we can get today. And as long as you guys, ask me, I will do my best to meet your needs as much as possible. So great job. Thanks for your questions. Just pausing before I move on, making sure people catch up with me. So yes, students can, after students submit an activity, they can edit it, but it might be better instead to just have them do a new activity or assign it to that student again rather than editing their previous activities, because it's a little tricky for students, especially our younger ones, to get into the edit mode. SDC classes, maybe we can figure out some way to work with you guys for SDC classes. Your SDC TOSAs definitely should be a great help, and they also maybe they can have some meetings with the Alisal EdTech. Again, for me, I'd love to make time for you guys, and I will just do my best to balance me, my family, and you all. Just taking this again second to catch up. All right. So for that, last question before I move on, creating a calendar for students to complete daily. You could do that. Maybe I'll show you kind of what I created. A calendar, you might not be able to do that in Seesaw unless you kind of make a checklist. This is something I'm playing around with. I'm going to go to kindrockets.org. I for $10, I purchased my own name so parents could access it. I haven't updated this in a few days, but this is what my daily schedule looks like. Again, that's kindrockets.org. This is kind of what I just did. Again, you can see this was on the 17th. This is kind of for parents. I put some links in there for them. Again, this is maybe a little different session, but that's just an idea. You could take that same slide and put it in Seesaw. For you teachers out there, before, again, I move on, I think this is actually very interesting. I was at a webinar with yesterday for this lady who's been doing online teaching for years from Brazil, and they get these amazing things. And so she talked about this study where they did remote learning with a kid, like elementary school and high school. And in high school, it was much successful than elementary school. And I'll tell you why. High school, they stuck to their students' routine. Elementary school, they didn't stick to the routines. And I think I'm guilty of this. They tried to, and we're all figuring this out, but this is just some information. They just try to kind of give students assignments and say, complete them or flip classroom, whatever. What they found is sticking to that structure is super helpful. So if you can do your best to mirror the structure of your day when you are thinking about doing these lessons, that is the best. Take what you know and just stick to it. All right. So again, hopefully you guys feel like you've caught up with your Seesaw activity. Again, I pause for you because I think some of you could be creating right now. Hopefully you've given time to create. And so I am done with my student template. If you are not done with your student template, don't worry. You can go back and edit it. I do it all the time. So when I'm done, I am going to go ahead and click this green box. And basically, now what I've done is I've attached my student template to the activity. You can see it down here. So my next steps are this one. And this one, again, if I want to add an emoji, Control Command Spacebar. Again, that's Control Command Spacebar. I hit the rocket, and I think this one is Sentence Sorts at Home. All right. So now we're going to write the instructions, and I'm going to have level A and level B. Let me see. Where did I put these? Excuse me. All right. So one of the things, yes, I use paper. Can you believe it? What I did is I went to Seesaw and I typed in Seesaw icon shortcuts. So let's do that. Command T Open a new tab. If you don't want to do these shortcuts, what are shortcuts? They put in these little images into your instructions. Don't worry about it if you're not comfortable doing that. All right, but I'm just going to type in Seesaw. I did this the other day too. Seesaw shortcut icons. Boom. And it comes up. If you actually click on the first image I found, it's actually from the Seesaw website. Again, Seesaw shortcut icons. I went to the first image that popped up. All right. I'm going to click on that. And basically it takes me to help.seesaw, and it actually lets you print this out. Okay. So on the web page, you can follow the shortcuts here. Seesaw shortcut icons. You can just have it up on your screen. I actually went ahead and printed it out. Sorry, no, I can't print it out and mail it to you. Just kidding. And these are just really helpful. These Seesaw shortcuts are helpful for making your instructions, especially for a little bit older kids, so they can see exactly what you want them to do, or maybe the parents. So Seesaw shortcut icons. Okay, I'm going to toggle back to my activity here. So my first thing is I need to think about step one. What do I need my students to do first? So the first thing I guess I need them to do is I need them, again, with my shortcut, to add a response. So under add, I know it's probably a little small for you. It's a colon, add colon. If you want to just type add, that's fine. But I'm going to type in colon, shift, and that's the semicolon, add, colon. Or you just type the word add. I'm trying to differentiate here with the best I can. So I'm going to type in add, and I'm going to type in add. Or I could say click add, maybe. Click add. Just, I want to show you, you don't need to save it, but I want to show you what that looks like right now. I'm going to save it. So you can see here, I'm going to go back in and edit it. Save it. And you can see here, it actually says click add response. So it's very visual for your students to go back in and edit. What do I do? They email me the Seesaw shortcuts. If you know what, if you send me an email, I will attach it to you, but you can also just Google it as well. But if you need that, that's fine. Yeah, take a shortcut, save it to your desktop, whatever's going to be easiest for you. If I can help you, that's a real quick email for me to write. So I'm going to go back in here to edit it. I go down to the bottom. Here's my 3 dots down here. You're probably not there, but I'm just showing you, and I want to not go to copy and edit. I actually am going to go back and edit it. So the first thing they need to do is click add instructions. Then what I want them to do is they're going to need to drag the sentences, or drag the images, or drag the whatever you want to call it. They're not all sentences, right? So drag the sentences, or drag the, maybe we're going to put in pieces with your, you could say the hand, or with the hand. So what is the Seesaw icon for hand? It is colon, move, colon. So the icon for hand, I'll pause here in a second. I'll review this again as well, is, and then we'll take a break after we finish this. Space, colon, move, colon. All right, drag the pieces with colon, move, colon. All right, so step 1 was click add. You could just type click add response. Step 2, drag the pieces with move. Okay, step 3, maybe I want to put sort into, and here's my, maybe my emojis. That was control command spacebar sentence, and control command spacebar, going back to the top. And I know I may be going a little fast for you. I'll slow down here a little bit. Not a sentence. You don't need the emojis if you don't want them. Again, it's just control command spacebar. All right. Yes, I'll take a break as soon as we're done with this part right here, just for the contiguous, and we'll take a 15-minute break. And then we'll just go, and then whenever you feel like you need to leave, that's okay too. So click add, drag the pieces with move, sort into a sentence and not a sentence. All right. Then I want my students to record here. So for record, I need to think about, they're going to have to click on the microphone. And so the microphone is, looking for the microphone, it is colon, mic, colon. So record reading. I always try to have reading the words or reading the boxes with your colon, mic, space, colon, mic, colon. record reading the boxes with your mic. All right. And then number 5, I always put this in, press, then play. For play, I'm going to use this and listen to your recording, and then recording, and then number 6, press. What's the check? I want them to submit the assignment. The check is just colon, check, colon. Again, you don't feel like you need to ask those, do those. So here's my instructions. Hopefully I'm going to kind of leave these on the screen during the break if you want to finish copying them. I will, when I get back from a break, what we'll do is we'll just show us how to maybe create your own multimedia example for students with this activity, and how you can add that into your instructions. And then I guess we'll just go from there. Right when we get back, I'll answer some more questions. So if you have any more questions, thank you for your positive comments. Hopefully I'm doing my best to answer your questions in there, and just thanks for being there. So here's where we'll take, again, a 15-minute break. I will go ahead and so what I'm going to do is actually move this to the side. Actually, if I keep this on there, I'm not going to put a timer up for now, because I don't think you guys are going to be able to see it. So I'll just have my friend Alexa, I guess, here, or Siri, set a timer, and you guys take a 15-minute break. I'll be back shortly. Maybe I'll leave this up for about 5 minutes, and then I'll put the timer on. All right. So thanks again. Keep asking your questions. I'll see you here in about 15 minutes. Check on your families. Use the restroom, whatever you need to do. and we will give our shout outs here. Too many tabs open. I should close a few, huh? It's always good to do some tab trimming every once in a while. When you get a lot of tabs open, it can slow down your browser. And so I think that's all the tabs. No, this one, I don't need this one. I don't need, let's see, this one. Ooh, I don't need that one open anymore. All right, we'll start here. And actually, you know what? Yes, we'll start here. All right, so let's start out with shout outs here. So we got some good shout outs. Mr. Beeler, thank you. Shout out to all kinder teachers. Neftali, shout out to the first grade team at Montebella. Shout out to Montebella. We got Bowen. Good morning, Alisal. Thank you very much for your kind words. Shout out from Kayla to the kinder TK team at Creekside, especially to Elena and Lise, the Seesaw Masters of Creekside. Shout out to your 5-year-old, Sylvia Nezani. Yes, awesome. Thanks, Nezani. I'm glad that you like this. I like that the rainbow background. Eric and Anna. Shout out to Eric and Anna. Shout out to Alisal School. Shout out from Claudia to Mary Carr. Thanks for working with Petra and I. That was awesome. Love these shout outs. Ben Medeiros. Shout out, Ben. Let's see, got Anna Castillo. Shout out to all Frank Paul riders. Yeah. Shout out to my wife, Jenny Cogswell. Thanks for that. I'll have to let her know later. Shout out to Sanchez, first grade teachers. All right. Shout out to some GLT teachers. Where can you watch the recordings? These recordings will be posted on the Alisal EdTech website. I think they shared that. I don't have the exact link. They shared that in the email that they sent out earlier. And so you'll be able to rewatch that. This should be a little quicker than my last one. My last one, I actually had to white out quite a few student names because they had their data in there before releasing it. This one, I don't have to do the case because it's only their first name. Going back to a few questions in here. So Kayla, as far as your journal, you can do multiple pages, and that's how, yes, you could do a daily journal that way. And you should, with those pages, I need to go back, by the way, and check. You should be able to move and sort the order in there. So I'm going to have to go back and look at that if we have some time. Honestly, we might go a little bit past 11:30, but don't feel like you need to stay after that. Again, if you're interested in keeping on going in these series, just send me a message, and I just kind of, I get, once I get a kind of a critical mass of messages, I talk to the ed tech department and I say, hey, I get some people asking for support in this. I find this is the easiest way for me to reach the people that are asking support in rather than just not always having the time to focus one-on-one. So I'm just going to do my best here for you guys and the best I can. And you guys also have some great support in your ETLs. Reach out to them. Reach out to George, Josh, and Celia. They're super busy, but they're super awesome. A few more shout outs before I moved on. I hope I got to most of the questions. Thank you. Shout out from Sean at Sanchez to AUSD Shaft, Petra staff. Petra, shout out to VRB Eagles. And then again, start out with shout out. That way it just helps me with the questions. I like having them in there. If I miss for some reason your questions, I know I think it was Rhoda had a question or somebody else on the daily agenda. I think for now, your daily agenda, you could do that in Google Calendar. That's a little bit more tricky. But I think it's easiest, maybe perhaps a Google slide. I need to go back and find your question. Some of these things, I think, some of these support groups that we're creating, whether that's the Kinder support group or some of these other support groups, will start popping up as we go. And so we'll just keep going from there. All right. I want to show you the magic. Where do you send you messages to continue these trainings? Again, if you just send me a message like an email, you can CC Alisal EdTech. Let them know. Again, as long as you guys keep asking, I will keep doing it. The EdTech department is more than I know. They do some great trainings. One other, I think, question I had earlier from Ms. Shock. So what happens sometimes when you are working in Seesaw is you might hit the back button when you're creating a activity. Does that mean you lost your stuff? Unfortunately, it does mean you do, which is why actually sometimes I'll save it and go back and edit the activity. And so I'll kind of show you that here in a second. We're going to jump back in. Thank you guys again for all your kind words. They just keep me strong, and hopefully we can help keep each other strong. So we made this activity, right? And as I said earlier, it's right now, would my students know what to do with this activity? No, I don't think they would know what to do with this activity. They're still going to need some sort of instruction. And so again, I'm going to show you an easy way to get to that instruction. As far as sharing this activity, I'll show you that as well. If you want to share it, you don't have to share your activities. Right now, my activity is private. I only share it. I only have to share it. I only need to, pardon me. Right now, my activity is private. They only should be shared with other people if you need to. Okay. Also, thanks for some of the ETLs that Mary Carr said. Mary Carr Osorio said, hey, if you need any help, reach out to her. She is super awesome. We got tons of support. So reach out to those people. They are there. They're willing to help. You guys, we make this happen, right? All right. Sorry, I'm done. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to model how to do this and give a mini lesson on this. All right. So what you are going to need is your Screencastify. And if you haven't learned about Screencastify, I know the Ed Tech department has done a few of those. Screencastify is so awesome. All right. That's what we're going to use today. So here's my question. I need to model this activity. How do I model the activity? So this is the way I would do it in class, and it's really the same virtually. And I think everybody at any level can do this. This is the simplest way. Remember, once this is posted, you can go back and watch this again. All right, so how do I model this activity? So here's my activity. Hopefully it's in front of you. If not, I'll give you a second to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of coffee. All right, so I'm going to assign my activity so I can model it. Who am I going to assign it to right now? Not everybody, because then they're just going to get it and they're not going to know how to do it. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to find me, Mr. C. I'm only going to assign it to Mr. C. And again, Patty, your question earlier, I can check for these activities, I can check which students I want to send them to. I know you're really good at differentiating, and so I can already see the cogs going in your head. All right, so here we got my green button. Okay, do I want to assign it to one student, Mr. Cogswell? Yes, I do. Assign to class. Okay, the quickest way to get to this activity is when this pops up, is it says down here, view activity and Kinder Rockets. If for some reason I close that down, I can just go up here to go to back to class. So here I am in my activities. So at this point, again, I'm going to keep it simple. You could think about, how do I want to model this activity? I'm going to keep it as simple as we can for this one. So here's what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and click on Screencastify. All right. I am going to record myself modeling this activity. So in Screencastify, again, it's in these are extensions. Where are the extensions? They're in the top of your browser. You have to be in Chrome. Screencastify should be there. If you haven't set it up, you need to do so. All right. So there's Screencastify, right? What you might want to do is you can either record your browser tab. Sometimes if you're going to go through multiple tabs being these things that are on the top of your computer, right, you're going to want to record your desktop. If you want to play it safe, just record your desktop. Do you want your webcam to be in there? In my opinion, yes. Your students want to see your face. I could give your students the same lesson in this, and you could just steal all my activities, but it's always more meaningful from you. So it doesn't mean you have to use all of your own activities, right? Use other people's activities, right? But turn that webcam on so I can see my microphone is working, because the green, it's going up and down right here. I can see that my FaceTime camera is working. I'm always a little skeptical when I'm recording with two. Yeah, we'll see how this works. It might stop sharing my screen. So for now, I'm just going to be safe, and I'm going to turn my webcam off just for the purpose of this recording. You probably want your webcam on. All right, I just don't want to take the chance and have any recording issues. So I'm going to go ahead and record. I'm going to think about what I want to say. For a second, I'm going to switch here to Luigi, so you get the visual cue right now that I'm actually recording for my students. Okay, if I had my astronaut helmet here and closer, that's what I'd be wearing. All right, you ready? Here we go. So I'm going to hit the record button. Again, what am I doing right now? I am modeling it for my students. I am making a model of how I want them to do it, and I'm going to show you how to attach this as instructions to your activity. So here we go. Ready? My activity's up. I'm ready to record. I'm going to hit record. I'm going to wait a second, smile, and wait. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the whole share screen part. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go. 3. All right. Hey there, Kinder Rockets. This is your teacher, Mr. C. Hope you're doing well at home. Today, we're going to work on sentence sorts at home. So this is what I want you to do. The first thing you need to do is you're going to log into your Seesaw, of course, as you've already done. Here's your activities, and I'm going to click on Add Response. Okay, so click on Add Response. Remember, this part doesn't come up for you. I'm going to click on Add Response. All right, now let's look at what we have here. All right, I'm going to grab right here so I don't move anything or write on anything. I'm going to grab my hand. Should have moved this up earlier. Okay, so what does this say? It says sentence, and this says not a sentence. So what do we need to remember is what are the things that make up a sentence? Let me think. I know there are 4 things that make up a sentence, right? Number 1, the sentence needs to start with a capital letter. Maybe 5 things. Number 1, sentence needs to start with a capital letter. Number 2, our sentence needs to have finger spacing. Number 3, our sentence needs to have pretty letters. Number 4, we need to have end punctuation. Remember, we've gone over these in class. And number 5, it expresses a complete thought or idea. So we're going to sort these sentences, okay? So I have my hand. I'm going to grab my hand, and I'm going to pick the first sentence. Let's go ahead and read this together. I like cats. Read it again. I like cats. All right, so let me check. Does it have my capital letter? Yes. Does it have finger spaces? Yes. Pretty letters? I got them. And punctuation? Yes, this one ends with a period. And does it express a complete thought? I like cats. Yeah, I think that's a complete thought, right? It's saying what I like. It's saying how I like them. I can see a verb. I can see my noun, right? So I'm going to drag this up here to sentence, right? Because this says sentence. Check. It's a sentence. Now let's go to the next one of the same color. Let's look at this one and think about those 5 things we need to see. Let's go ahead and try to read it. I cats. I cats. Is that a complete sentence? No, it does not express a complete thought or idea, right? It doesn't. It just says I cats. What does that mean? Doesn't have a capital letter. It doesn't have end punctuation. It does have pretty letters. It does have finger spacing, but that's not an idea. So what you are going to do, students, is you are going to do your best to try to read all of those things and think about the 5 things in each of those sentences. Remember, does it have a capital letter? Does it have finger spaces? Or does it have pretty letters? Does it have end punctuation? And finally, does it express a complete thought or idea? So go ahead, complete your activity now. You know, one thing I forgot is the recording part. So remember, once you are done, record your activity, right? And you need to record yourself reading. And so you can record yourself saying, I like cats is a sentence, and you can tell me why. I like cats is not a sentence, and you can tell me why. And so again, when you're done, go ahead and click there. Go ahead, and you're going to wait for this to come up. You have to wait a little bit. Click check. Always listen to your activity, please. And then go ahead and submit it. All right, Kinder Rockets, great job. All right, for you out there, I'm hoping I hit the magic number, and I did. So what's the magic number? Switching hats again. You can see I messed up there. I'd probably want to do that one again because I forgot about the order. I forgot about the instructions. So what I did right there, and that's okay, I'm going to worry about that later. Again, I switched hats to visually show you that I recorded my modeling for the instruction. I want to try to echo what I've said in class. And so maybe the pretty letters part, maybe I don't need that part. But in class, we've been talking about how sentences have pretty letters. So I'm trying to echo that. You can kind of see how I modeled it. Why do I say 5 minutes? Screencastify goes over more than 5 minutes. Seesaw only allows you to record for up to 5 minutes. So I need to keep my instruction under 5 minutes. If you need to set a timer, that's fine too. You can see this is perfect because it only went to 3 minutes and 44 seconds. I'm going to upload this as it is. later, when I have some more time, I'm going to do it again just because some of us, are perfectionists or, but I feel like I need to do it again. You don't need to feel like you need to. All right. So you can see up here, the Screencastify, it's saving to Drive. Now, here's the really cool thing. All right. We have our model. And right now, I should probably entitle this, right? I title it. So sentence. I just clicked up here. Let me show you again. I clicked up here. I'm going to grab my sentence. Oops. First sentence. Let's go ahead and read this together. Oh, I wonder if you can hear that. Maybe you can. Sentence, not a sentence. Okay. I don't need the title. Nobody's really going to see that part. Okay. So I have this. Where's it shared right now? It's in my Google Drive. One thing, sometimes if I'm going to share these other places, again, I clicked on more options here, fewer options, more options, more options, fewer options. I can do this to public. You don't really need to do that, but if you're going to share it other places, you might want to make sure it's not going to affect how it uploads to Seesaw. All right. So I'm going to go back to Seesaw here. You can see here is my activity. I need those instructions to be in my activity. They are not in my activity yet. So I want you to think, how do I get back to my activity? Okay, again, to get back to that activity, you can hit plus. You can go right here to assign activity. Assign activity. Checking my time. Okay, here's the activity that I made. Sentence sorts at home. All right, so I'm going to click on this activity. I'm going to bring it up again, and I'm going to show you right now how I can edit that activity. You saw it earlier. Here's my activity. I want to edit it because what do I need to do? I need to add those instructions, right? I add those instructions. So here's my activity. Again, I'm going to show you one more time. To get to my activity, I clicked on the green plus sign. I went to assign activity. What am I doing? I'm adding those instructions I just made in Screencastify to my activity so my students have that model of how to do it. I have that direction instruction piece. All right, so here's my activity again. I clicked on it. It's my activity. I'm going to go to these three dots over here. And I'm going to pause there for a second so you can see if you can find those three dots. You can see I'm going to edit the activity. I don't want to copy and edit the activity unless I want another copy. I'm going to edit that activity. So yes, you cannot upload a Screencastify over 5 minutes to Seesaw. There's some other ways you're going to have to do that. Yeah, you can upload it, and maybe Alex, you and I can talk. But right now, about some other ways we can share that. That's why a lot of my read alouds, I'm either maybe YouTube channel is a great way, although students don't have access to this, or you can share it directly through Drive. All right, so here's my activity. I'm in edit activity. What do I need to add? I want to add, again, student instructions. So I'm in this student instruction section, and it said add multimedia instructions or example. Add okay, I got that. So let's think, where is my video? It's in your Drive. So I don't need to download and up it because I can upload it. I can add it from right here. So let me click through again so you can just make sure I didn't lose anybody. All right, so I'm in here, student instructions. All right, I went to add multimedia activity. What am I going to add? I'm going to add my Screencastify. Where's my Screencastify? It's in my Google Drive. So I'm going to click upload. Pause a minute at this page in case I lost anybody. All right, so think about it. Look at it. Where do I want to upload it from? Is it from my Google Drive? Yes. Is it from, I could upload it from my computer if I have another way to do it, but mine's in my Google Drive. It's another step. So I'm going to go select from Google Drive here. Now, here's why it's handy dandy to put that name like I did, because it just makes it easier for you to be able to find. All right, so there's two ways to find it. If I titled it, what did I put? Sentences, I think. Sentences, boom. And then hopefully, again, this just means sentence, not a sentence. You see how that came up first? All right, the other way to find it, again, I'm going to hit cancel, select from Google Drive. It takes a minute depending upon your internet, right? If you have faster internet, it will take less. If you have slower internet, it will take more. If you notice in Google Drive, you have a folder that Screencastify has created for you. It's called Screencastify. So if I click on that folder, that's another way that I can access that. See, here it is. The first thing, sentence, not a sentence. It's definitely helpful to entitle. So I'm going to click on that. Now this is the part, it takes a little while uploading, right? It's still uploading. If it has this green check up here, it means it's still uploading. Now, I had a video the other day that I had to actually try it a few different times. I went back and I edited the activity again. It just, because our internet is slow right now, I'm streaming, this is uploading, it's going to take a while. By the way, usually the way our internet providers work is they have a faster downloading stream than they do a uploading speed. So what does that mean? Downloading is when you are watching Netflix, right? Downloading is when you are watching YouTube. Downloading in your streaming services. When I'm uploading, like right now, I'm having to take this stream and this stream is being uploaded, right? And then it's being downloaded. So right now, right, think of it as a river. Your internet's like a river, right? The more you're trying to upload, it's going to start clogging it. So my internet is being a little clogged right now because I'm uploading this stream, right? And then I am uploading this video. So if you're having trouble uploading, again, downloading things is faster for your service provider typically than uploading them. So if it's taking a while to upload it, you can close some of your other tabs down. Like here, I'm going to close this Screencastify tab down. I'm going to close this YouTube tab down, right? It's going to take a while to upload it. Again, for me, yours might already be uploaded. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just leave this open and I'll walk away. Yours might already be uploaded to yours, right? If I want to test it, sometimes I click on this. Again, I feel like it's going to make it take longer. I'm going to wait a little bit and I'm going to see if it uploads it. So again, what am I doing? I'm uploading the instructions. All right. And when I am done, what is this going to look like? Well, again, you can see I'm still uploading it, pausing and looking for questions while I wait for its upload. So one of the question is, what about a schedule? Could I put a schedule in the Seesaw blog, or does it disappear, or is it permanent? Anything you put in the Seesaw blog is going to be permanent. And so but you have the choice. Actually, I shouldn't say permanent. You have the choice of what's goes in there. So if you want to get your students to add, go to the daily, every day, go to the blog to add it. That's fine. Also, this is just thinking about, this is one type of activity, right? I think right now this is probably the best activity for our students. I've tried to have some of my students record themselves doing some things. It just hasn't been as successful. I feel like the manipulative dragging activities for students right now are the most successful. That doesn't mean there are other ways to do different activities. Probably won't cover this today because it's already a lot. This is probably kind of where we'll stop as far as this part of the activity rather than getting into the Google Slides background. I apologize. I had you go there earlier. I was going to show you how to do that. I think it might be a little much. We'll see. Let's see where we get in about 15 minutes. And if there's some of you guys that want to continue, maybe we can. I think it'd probably be better for most people to do that section at a later date. So I apologize. For me, just like a teacher, I want to do my best to go slow enough to meet your needs. Hopefully I did that today. Again, while I'm uploading this, can I attach a video on the slide instead of the instructions? So, okay. So this is kind of a more technical question. You can upload Google Slides to Seesaw, true, but you cannot upload a video in Google Slides to Seesaw, if that makes sense. However, there's a caveat. If you had Google Slides, and again, if I lost you right now, don't worry about it. If you have a Google Slide deck and you embed some videos in there, as long as they're not YouTube videos right now, you could give the students a link, like I gave you a link to my slide deck. They could click on this slide deck and they could go and access that and watch the videos there. Again, that's a little bit more advanced. Hopefully that helps you. So here's another thing. For my activity, once I've posted this up, can you edit my sentence choices in my activity? Yeah, I'll show one that I've done before too, Ben. Can you edit sentence choice in my activity? Yes, you can copy and edit it. So maybe what I'll do, since this is taking a little while, I'm going to go to a different tab. Let's see if I can open up Seesaw. I've had a few issues with open up Seesaw in multiple tabs lately. I'm going to go to a different tab. Look, I left this tab open. It's still uploading. If it doesn't upload in a little while, I'll try it again. Okay, so what does this look like in here? One I've done before. Just pausing here. All right. So, Kayla, as far as the emojis and adding the emojis on a PC, you'd have to Google that. I can't help you with that one, but you can add the Seesaw shortcuts the same way. So I'm going to show you again the way that one of my activities here looks for my students, kind of in that same fashion. So you can see this is this activity. Let me pick one that maybe is a little let's do, I guess we'll do that one. That's a good one. Sorry, a little indecisive here. So this is the one, this is the activity, right? When I upload the instructions, this is the way it looks. We showed you this earlier, but no problem, right? So this is just review. This is the way activity looks when I share it with students. When they have the instructions now, do you see how the instructions are right here? So those instructions that I'm currently uploading, when my students get them, I need to train them to click here and watch the video, right? They click here, they can watch the video. You can see the video starts and they can watch the whole video. And you can see here, I started with some Google Slides, right? And then again, through Screencastify, I model the activity. You can see my web camera is up here. So this is from the student view, right? You can see this is in Screencastify. It's a little small, right? It's a little small, but yes. So hopefully that helps. This is the activity. This is what the instructions are. And that's that Screencastify I did, which is why I really like that Screencastify, because it builds it into the activity. Okay, I'm going to go back to check and Seesaw. It's still uploading. So for me, if it's still an issue, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back. I'm going to delete and start over, right? I'm going to upload it. What am I uploading it from? My Google Drive. We're just going to see again. Sometimes I've done this. It's been a lot faster. I'm going to look for it in my Screencastify folder just because there's a lot going on in the internet. It might take a few times. I would say typically if it's like your upload should not take more than 5 minutes. If it's taking more than 5 minutes, try it again. For me, part of it again could be because I am currently uploading right now this live stream. So again, just to review, when I upload this activity and attach it, I'm going to hit the green button. And then I'm going to save my activity. I'm going to save my activity. Okay. So then once I saved it, I'm going to go back again. This is the view of what now the students would see. They'd be able to click on your little, click on your screencast and see how you modeled that there. That's what I really like. You students still can get that direct instruction. Again, the problem is if they're not clicking on it, if they're not watching the whole video, then it's not. So that's one thing I'm currently working. My students are not doing that. They're not used to doing that. They're not watching the whole video. So I got to train. Okay. I'm going to go up here to assign activity. All right. So again, here's some of these activities that I have. All of my activities, if you go to the school and district, again, activity library, everything I do as soon as I can, I upload it for you guys, right? So you can see here's love this. Shout out to Yesenia. Love the space background. That is so awesome. Oh, it's so cool. Go Kinder Rockets. You can see Miss Osorio. She's uploaded this, right? Good job, Natalie. Great job, Natalie. Love to see that in there. Here's mine. You can see here's mine up here. Love this silly sentences, Yesenia. Great job. Yours might look a little bit different because some teachers might only share to their school library. Maybe some teachers, because if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay too. Some teachers are sharing to the district library. Love how you added and updated this right here, Miss Zavala. Great job. Tina Wen, great job. So this is the school library. You don't have to add it to there. So here's my library. Okay. Those are my activities. So if I wanted to share an activity to the school library, I'll start. I'm not going to touch this. Let me see here. Can I go back? Yep, still uploading. If I want to share an activity to the school library, here's what I would do. I would find my activity. I would click on my activity. All right, here's my activity. Again, give you a second. There's these 3 magical dots here in the corner. And you might have to, when you scroll up, once you do that, give you a second. So go to your activity that you would want to share. Do you have to share it? No, you don't have to share it, right? I would encourage you to share because it's awesome, right? We can help each other a lot. So if you can see with these 3 dots, again, here's my activity. I go down to the 3 dots. I might have to scroll down and I'm going to go to share activity. All right, I'm going to click on share activity. When I go to share activity, I can share my activities to the Seesaw library. The reason I can do that is because I am a Seesaw ambassador. You might not have that there. You can share to your school and district library. So when I click share, right, you're going to have to fill this out. So what are the grade levels available? What are the subjects available? Do you want to share it to everybody or just your school? Maybe if you're a little shy, you just want to share it to your school. That's fine too. Hit the check, right? So mine's already shared. If mine was not shared, I would be able to, if mine was not shared, this would be share and not remove, right? That is how I share my activities to the school and district library. Do you have to share them? No, right? Again, here's my activity. You can see here I have my SH and sounds. You can see I want to show you this one. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but you can see some of the modeling I did here was in Screencastify, and I just did it on a whiteboard, and then I modeled the activity. Again, how did I do that? I used my webcam, I used the whiteboard, and after I was done with this section, you can still see my screen. You can see that I actually went and modeled the activity. All right, so that's a really good way to get that direct instruction packaged into your Seesaw activities. Should we check again? Yep, it's still uploading. I have a feeling it won't upload right now just because, again, I'm uploading to you guys. But hopefully that helps you. I think at this point, this is a good stopping point. I know some of you could keep watching. Maybe at some point next week, we can do another create activities with Google Slides a little bit more advanced. For those of you that want some of that, if you go back and you go in here, Alisal remote instruction, if you go in these slides, you can see that these are like, I have a bunch of information on everything. Okay, I know I'm going through these fast. These slides are just a resource for you. And so if I keep going in these slides, right, if I keep going in these slides, sorry, I know I'm going kind of fast. You can see here, I have a YouTube video that says creating Seesaw activities, right? And here's a whole video on creating it here. Here's in this presentation. Where can you also get that? You can go to coachben.org, right? Coachben.org. I share my stuff with everybody, particularly with you guys. You can go to my YouTube channel, and on my YouTube channel, I've also been posting these webinars. The Alisal District posts them. I post them as well. On my YouTube channel, I post some tutorials for people. Okay, so on my YouTube channel, you should be able to see, let's see if I have a playlist called Seesaw. Maybe I need that make that a little more accessible for you guys. I do have a playlist, and I know I'm moving fast right now. But if you click again, my channel, where did I get to my channel? Coachben.org. I went to CoachBen. I went to Seesaw. You can see here's a Seesaw playlist. I have a few things in there in my Seesaw playlist. I guess Seesaw activity sort. Here's a one way to do it with Google Slides in the background. So I'll be adding some more stuff there. Just one resource. We'll see if we can get that to the EdTech page as well, so you guys have less places to go. Again, coachben.org, YouTube. You can click on the Seesaw stuff from there. Also, what I'll probably do is when you do this presentations, I'll add the live stream, the recorded live stream links here. So it's all easy for you to find. Hopefully it'll be on that page as well. In this last section, if you have any more shout outs or I'll answer questions, I'm also going to do just a one review. Let's see, it's not uploaded. So what did we do today? We talked about the parts of an activity, right? And I'm even going to go there and how do I get there? I go to assign activity. This is our review. Let me log in over here on my Chromebook. How do I create the activity? I go to the plus sign, right? In the activity, I have my activity name, your student instructions. You can add voice instructions. I didn't show you that, but you just hit the button and you record. This is where we added our Screencastify. Right here is multimedia instruction or example. This is where we added our template, where we built our Seesaw template, right? And this is the save button, of course. If I go back like that, before I save it, it's going to remove my whole activity, right? I'm going to get rid of this one for now. Again, if I want to share an activity or if I want to copy or edit an activity, I just click here and then I click on these three dots. Again, where did I click? I should not say here. I go to my library. I need to be specific, right? I go to my library. I click on the activity that I want, right? I go to the three dots, and I'll pause for you. The three dots are at the bottom. You can copy and edit my activities if you want to. That's fine, right? You can edit the activity here. You can share the activity here, right? That's just a review. I know that was kind of quick, but that was just a review of kind of a lot of the stuff that we did today. Let's see, is this ready yet? I doubt it. It's not going to be again right now. I don't think that's going to work out. So I'm going to put this on the screen. I'm going to zoom all the way to the beginning. Okay, in case you need that. Then I got just a few things to close out. I'll give shout outs. I'll give questions. Okay, good. I'm stopped. All right. Going back to the questions. So as far as some of these other questions about, other backgrounds, I'm sorry I didn't get that today. Maybe next week we can do another webinar on adding different backgrounds, just because I really want to make sure everybody feels supported. And so I'm starting from the basics and I'm going from there. You can also go to Seesaw. They have PD in your PJs, and there's lots of other ways to do that too. I think that, now's the time to learn, right? Take your time to learn. Just a few other questions I'm going to get to. Oh, where did I get the clip art from? Where Pete stepped in. So a few places. Here's one thing to think about, teachers. When I am creating my activities, I want to show you, for example, a few things. When I am creating this, and these are where do I get the clip art? I'll show you that too. Some of the clip art I got from a website called the Noun Project. The Noun Project. I've done this for years, $20 a year for some of this access to some of this stuff. Noun Project. I'll show you that too as we close out. We have to be careful. I did not want to just use, where did we go? Sorry, I jumped around here. I didn't want to just use a picture of Pete the cat, because I don't necessarily have, I don't have the right to use that picture. So I actually made that cat in that background in Google Slides with shapes. I looked at the picture, I made the cat because I couldn't find any cats that look like Pete. So one thing you might want to think about, because I don't want to just take a picture of Pete, maybe if you just want to share it with just your students, but think about this whole copyright thing if I'm sharing it with other people. All right. So that's where I got it. So for some of my clip art that's royalty free, I like what's called the Noun Project. Noun Project. So type in Noun Project. They have a $20 a year fee for educators. I pay for it. I can't comment on that. If district's going to pay for it, I can't answer any of those kind of questions. But you can get the free version, but you have to cite the source if you get the free version. When you get the paid version, there's tons of icons. So for Pete's cat, all the shoes I got from here, there's tons of icons here. You can change the color if you get the paid version. It's $20. Do what you will. This is where I get some of my clip art. I also look for free, royalty-free clip art. But if you want a one-stop shop for clip art that you're allowed to use, go here, buy the $20 license. Noun Project. That's a great thing. The Screencastify. How do I get to my previous versions of Screencastify? That's a good question. If I come here to Screencastify and I click onto my Screencastify link, right? So I clicked on Screencastify. See the 3 hot dogs up here? Give you a second to look for those 3 hot dogs. I click on it and I can go to all my recordings. So there's where all my recordings. I'm not sure if that was your question, but that's where you can get to it. Let me see. Just kind of looking at a few other questions here. Thank you for your patience. Let's see. Yes, you can copy it in my activity. Again, that was in the 3 dots. I think I kind of went over that one. I think I got most of that in there. Again, another shout out to Mary Carr. Hyperdocs are awesome. Good job, Maritza. Thanks for that shout out. Thank you, Claudia. I'm really glad you felt successful being able to make your first activity. Let me see. YouTube channel, Kayla. You actually already have a YouTube channel with your district account. If you know that, just go to log in. Try that. And maybe, again, that's something I can cover at a later point. But you have a YouTube channel through your district Google account. If you have a Google account, you have a YouTube channel. It's just that's stuff I was sending out more to the parents than to the kids. So I'm going to wait here just for a minute for any more questions that pop in, any more shout outs. Again, I will contact the ed tech department if you are interested about, taking your activities even more to the next level with backgrounds. Today, we didn't get all the way to 100. We probably got from about 0 to 50 in the title. And so maybe the next one we'll do is 50 to 100. One question I had, am I meeting with my students every day? So recently, after my shout out coworker Yesenia, I did a Google Meet with my students. I don't have a set schedule yet with my students. Right now, I'm trying to get as many of them to Google Meet as possible on a daily basis and being able to have that connection with them. I went to kindrockets.org. Again, that's kindrockets.org. And what I'm working on is this parent corner for my parents. And again, in this, let's see, it looks like, yep. So what I've done in here, and this is a little funny in the size, I've created a how-to for parents, how to get into Google Meet. I haven't done that for teachers yet. I also shout out to you. Yesenia took her slides on for how parents could get how to access Google Meet through Seesaw. Maybe at some point I'll try to make a tutorial for teachers on the back end of that. Maybe that'll be a good goal for today to help you out. I've done Google Meets with my parents or my students. I did one yesterday at 10. I sent the parents a message via Remind. I use a Remind app and say, hey, here's a tutorial. I have it on my YouTube channel as well. But sorry, this is a different YouTube channel. This is my district YouTube channel. But you can get through the kinderrockets.org, kinderrockets.org. And I'll make sure to add another link to the YouTube video down here in just a second. I sent my parents a link to the how-to. Feel free to use mine. My daughter helped me with the Spanish. It's not perfect. If you want to make one, awesome, and share it with me, that's great too. I did a Google Meet with my students. I met with them once yesterday in the morning. I tried to connect with them once in the evening. And then I'm connecting with them today at 1. Hopefully, once I get more of them in there, I haven't got all of them in there. I know my awesome coworker, again, Yesenia, she's gotten most of her kids in there, but how does she do it? She makes a lot of phone calls home. She contacts parents in Remind, and she's definitely been a big shining star for me and helping me push me forward. So again, big shout out to her. And so I'm trying to meet with my students because I feel like that face-to-face is the best way to do that. And I was able to share my screen and go through some of our routines. So hopefully that answers the questions. So yes, if you go to Kinder Rockets, that's my resources for parents. I took the slides Yesenia made. Here's this. If you go to kindrockets.org, then that will give you access to that. I know one of the things sorry, Alex has good. Alex, I'm going to share this with you as well. Let me type this up here so you can see this. I'm just going to go to this and I'm going to type this right here. She has, if for those of you that are in Kinder Collaboration, I'm going to leave this on here. She has a survey for you. You can go to Kinder. Hopefully I'm typing this right, Alex. Collab. Good job by the way, on using a tiny URL. Collab 324. That's for Kinder. I'm sure she'll figure out some other grade levels to collaborate too. So tinyurl.com/Kinder collab. I think I typed that right. That's the Tuesday meeting. So you can go to that. And if you have any questions or things that you want to address ahead of time. Okay. As far as, again, love Mary Carr, you're doing some great work. You're getting a tons of shout outs in here. So with that, I'm going to kind of wrap this up. As soon as this processes, this will be available for you guys to watch. Hopefully we'll do another one on creating Seesaw activities the next level. Hopefully you feel confident adding that Screencastify into your Seesaw as a multimedia. Let's see if mine's done adding. Nope, not done adding. So I might try that again once this is over. So again, Kinder on 324, you go ahead. Alex will be sending out an invite. You can go ahead and fill that form out. Kindergarten collaboration. If you have a question, the best person to email it to, I would start honestly with your ETL. I think if you have an ETL at your site, and so Barden people, I am your ETL. Juliana is your ETL. That's the best person to go to. If you feel like your ETL, maybe they can't answer that question, again, email me. For me, I will do my best to get to you on a timely basis, and it might be just making another one of these. I will help you as I can when I can. So think of your ETLs maybe as your first line of defense. You also have your district TOSAs for this. District TOSAs, I know Alex and Anna, besides your EdTech TOSAs, are working very hard to get some support out there, as I know Kim is as well. So reach out to your district TOSAs as well for support. They are there. They are all busy just like you guys are. So remember that. So thank you. I promise you guys I will do my best to get back to you. I hope these are helpful for you. Thank you so much for what you do. And let's just keep on keeping on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop recording this. You guys are awesome. And with that, go Alisal, stay Alisal strong, and have a great day.